So Donald Trump has issued an executive order to end birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship is protected by the 14th Amendment in its original form, written in the mid to late 1800s. It was for specific purposes to make ex-slaves citizens of the United States. So anybody who is subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. is written into the amendment. Now, I have a few things to say about this because we seem to be operating from this paradigm because past courts have ruled that birthright citizenship means anybody that is born in America. This is up for question and reinterpretation, working from first principles. But because virtually everybody alive today has been born in an era where anybody born in the U.S. is given automatic citizenship, we think that this is the way it has to be. But does it really? We are one of the few countries on earth, mostly within the Western Hemisphere, that offers this. Donald Trump says that we're the only one. That is categorically false. And I have a sincere opinion on this because we have 4 children. The first 2 were born in Thailand, and the second 2 were born in both Costa Rica and Mexico. The Thais want to be Thai. They do not want their culture watered down by people being able to claim to be from Thailand, Thai citizens who do not share that bloodline, the language, the culture. This is their right as a country. And again, it is incredibly rare in non-Western countries for this to be the case. Our other 2 kids that were born, again, Mexico, Costa Rica, both have citizenship in these countries. We do not have their passports, but they are completely eligible for them. And should they go back, they would receive all of the protections and taxes probably that their citizens are offered by their native country. This is great for them. They've got an extra passport. Certainly can't hurt. So the question is, why so many countries in the West offered birthright citizenship? Well, during the times that these laws were created, it was much more difficult to travel. You didn't have airplanes constantly going across the globe transporting citizens. It made for the ability that you could get more people to develop your country, which in the West were very underdeveloped, especially compared to Europe. And it offered them, those who came seeking work and refuge in these countries, greater certainty as to what would happen to them. That's why most of the Latin American countries, if you're born there, as I just mentioned, have this birthright citizenship. The question is, in today's modern era, many people are coming to the United States specifically because they want U.S. citizenship for their children and for themselves, using the anchor baby in an effort to get their own citizenship there. And who can blame them? The U.S. is the greatest country on earth. As somebody who's traveled to 60 countries and lived in 7 different countries, I can tell you that very firmly, that any U.S. citizen is incredibly lucky to have been born there, and that's why so many people are seeking to come. And I don't blame them one bit for doing this. The question is, as Americans, we have the right to set our own course for our own country, for whom we allow inside of our borders, and to be able to say that they're citizens. And we must be able to revisit this and see the abuse that is currently taking place, decide as a people and as a nation whether or not we desire it, and drop the paradigm just because past courts have interpreted the 14th Amendment to state that anybody born within the United States is a citizen. The person who actually penned that amendment stated firmly that it was not, several years later or a year later, that it was not for people that were coming to abuse the system, but mainly for the slaves that were being removed from slavery during that period of time, and just to allow them to establish themselves as Americans. Going forward, what Donald Trump wants is he wants this to move up to the Supreme Court because, of course, all of the liberal states are challenging this because they want more and more people, and they think that new citizens are more likely to vote for them for whatever reason that they have. And Donald Trump wants to escalate this up to the Supreme Court so that we can get a decision. Now, you can have an opinion either way. There are some arguments for it. There are many arguments against it. I personally don't think that just because you're born in a country that you should receive citizenship there. I think that that has to be earned and subject to the laws of that country. And thus, you must bring net benefit and not allow so many people to come in and abuse the system as they have been. So I, despite having 2 children with citizenships in other countries, and 2 that receive no benefit from where they were born, I side with Donald Trump that we should end birthright citizenship that is being abused. And when you see the abuse, then you have to be able to change the law. You can allow people to apply for citizenship. Maybe even born here might be a slight plus, but you cannot give automatic citizenship and then thus to the parents who specifically traveled to the United States in an effort to give birth, knowing that it would give them an advantage, because obviously this is being abused, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to address. And I happen to agree with it. That's my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Peace and have a fabulous day.